Hi, I'm Stuart Sanders, the Kentucky Historical Society's history advocate. I'm here today at the Lexington, Kentucky Cemetery, standing at the grave of Confederate General John Hunt Morgan, who's a noted Confederate cavalry commander during the Civil War. Now here in Lexington, there's been a lot of controversy lately over two Confederate statues that are located at the old Fayette County Courthouse. One of General John Hunt Morgan that was erected in 1911, and another of Confederate General and Confederate Secretary of War John C. Breckinridge that was placed at the courthouse in 1887. Recently, the Lexington-Fayette Urban County government made the decision to relocate these statues. This has caused a great deal of controversy, with one side arguing that the city wants to erase history, while the other side notes that the site, Cheapside, which was once the site of a large slave auction site, is not an appropriate place to honor the Confederacy. Others have commented that the timing of the monuments, 1887 and 1911, shows that they were installed to reinforce Jim Crow laws and racial segregation. Others contend that Confederate monuments should be placed at battlefields, museums, and cemeteries instead of civic spaces. So how can people learn more about these monuments in order to better inform decisions made about them? And how can we determine the intentions of those who installed the monuments in the first place? How can we know if they were simply meant to honor local military men, or if the intent included greater racial overtones? It is best for stakeholders and decision makers to engage in the historical process. Research at libraries and archives and sites like the Kentucky Historical Society can help uncover the history of these monuments. Research can also provide greater meaning about the intent of these memorials. The archives of the Kentucky Historical Society, for example, include the United Daughters of the Confederacy collection. Since the UDC raised money for both statues and was instrumental in installing the John Hunt Morgan Memorial, these original documents can shed light on the history of these monuments. At KHS, the UDC collection includes correspondence about the placement of the John Hunt Morgan Monument, funding information, contracts, meeting minutes, and letters between members arguing over the ultimate design of the statue. To learn more about these monuments, we hope that the general public and decision makers will engage in the historical research process. We hope that they will go to archives and examine letters and primary source documents and period newspapers to really understand the greater context of why these memorials were installed in the first place. By doing that, we think that community leaders can make better informed decisions about what sort of monuments and memorials should be located at public civic places. We are here in the Kentucky Historical Society's library looking at the United Daughters of the Confederacy collection as it pertains to the John Hunt Morgan statue in Lexington, Kentucky. One part of this collection includes the program for the unveiling of the monument to General John H. Morgan and his men, which was held on October 18th, 1911. So you can see from this that school children sang Confederate songs like Dixie and the Bonnie Blue Flag. They also had former Confederate soldiers who were speakers, including Morgan's brother-in-law, Confederate General Basil Duke, and the Reverend E.O. Grant, who's also a Confederate soldier, gave one of the addresses during that ceremony. We also have correspondence between UDC members as it pertained to the John Hunt Morgan monument in Lexington. What I'm holding here in my hand is a letter from Genevieve Morgan Williams Mulligan, who's a member of the United Daughters of the Confederacy, and she actually resigned from the General John H. Morgan Monument State Committee because she did not like the design of the statue. In brief, she thought it was bad art. She called it absolutely valueless as a piece of art, and she said that she did not want to see the statue done as, quote, art for art's sake, but instead she wanted it done as art for humanity's sake.